Last month, I scaled 3 brands in 3 different niches to over $1 million in monthly revenue. For each of them, it was their first 1 million month ever, but most importantly, it was also their biggest profit month ever. And while they're now thriving and scaling even further, it wasn't always like that. They've already tried hitting their first 1 million month before, but failed every single time. The key factor that made it happen this year, which was also their main profit driver, was email and SMS marketing. It generated hundreds of thousands of dollars of highly profitable sales, which allowed them to keep scaling the ad spend without sacrificing the profit margin. In this video, I'll show you exactly what strategy we used, what we did differently compared to every other time they failed to scale $1 million per month, and how you can implement it for your brand to profitably scale to the next level. These will be the exact same strategies I used to scale over 60 brands past the 6 and 7 figure per month mark without relying on discounts or sacrificing their margin. Sit back, relax, and after watching this video, you will know what to do differently to get to the next level. So let's get right into it. This is gonna be a full case study on how I did it, how I scaled 3 brands to over $1 million per month. But first of all, proof. This is the first brand November 1st to November 30th. They did in total $1.3 million, where over 34% came from email. You can see, growth month over month as well as year over year. It was over 370% growth year over year. Another brand, almost $1.1 million in 1 month. Over 42% of that came from email and SMS. As you can see, year over year growth is pretty decent as well. And last but not least, this brand was running in euros, so they did almost 1 million euros in revenue, and over 55% of that revenue came from email alone. And just to give you a little bit of extra knowledge, if you just convert this almost 1 million euros into USD, that's over $1.1 million USD. So we can see 3 different brands, all of them selling different products, different target audiences and stuff like that. And we still managed to get all of them to over $1 million. And again, for each of them, it was their first $1 million month, which is pretty amazing. Now let's talk about key challenges and mistakes they've been making in the past that prevented them from hitting this revenue goal. Because like I said, they've been trying to do it before, but they failed every single time. So what was different and what was the mistake before? So as they tried before, the first thing that was, in my opinion, one of the very important reasons was limiting beliefs. Because if you want to scale to $1 million per month in revenue and then you failed and you failed again and again and again, you have some kind of limiting beliefs that, hey, maybe it's not possible, maybe we're selling the wrong product, maybe we're in the wrong niche, maybe something is fundamentally wrong, maybe we should pivot. So this kind of limiting belief is very important that you get rid of it, because the truth is that you can scale to 1 mil per month whatever niche you're selling in, whether it's high ticket e-com, low ticket e-com, mid ticket e-com, doesn't really matter, you can do it. So getting rid of these limiting beliefs is quite important. And I know this is kind of like a woo-woo mindset thing, but trust me, it is more important than you think. So that was the first step to actually achieving this goal. Then the second thing was that rising CPMs would always cause it that, and also we're trying to scale during the most competitive time of the year. I know that everyone says Black Friday is the best time to scale, which is true, but ultimately it's also the most competitive time of the year. So for them, rising CPMs were causing it that back in the day they couldn't scale, because every time they tried to bump up the ad spend, the CPMs would just go through the roof, which also resulted in higher ad costs, because they were seeing 50 to 100% higher new customer acquisition costs. Profitability dropped every single time they tried to scale. So they just didn't want to hit 1 mil for the sake of hitting it. They wanted to hit 1 mil and make it profitably, so they can not only make the most revenue ever, but also the most profit ever. And then another part, which I'm gonna be covering a bit more in this video, was that their emails were underperforming, so they were reliant on ads. And as you can imagine, if they were reliant on ads and ads are getting more expensive, it's becoming really hard to scale to the next level. But from the email standpoint and from the email side, they were having too low of a volume. They were sending random emails to random segments. They had had some basic copy focusing only on discounts and their design was not optimized at all. They had also no plan for improving the results, because realizing your results are not great is the first step to improving, but the second step is actually coming up with an action plan that you can go ahead and start implementing. Their flows were doing okay, but they weren't great. They were not using SMS at all, and some flow mistakes, like wrong filters, wrong triggers, people not getting the emails when they should, maybe even not getting them at all in some cases, wrong splits, wrong links, like some minor stuff, but all of that really compounds. And then ultimately when you try to scale, it's really, hard to do it when you're having such mistakes. So now our strategy and the main goal was to turn email from being average to being the main profit driver and also increasing their repeat orders, because we knew that email should be generating more revenue and more profit for them than it was in the previous months, because I've personally, again, done this for over 60 brands. So all I did was I implemented the, some key missing pieces and just helped them unlock the next level. The main areas we focused on were quantity and quality of the emails, and I'm gonna cover the difference between them later in this video because it's super important that we actually focus on both. I'm also going to cover what we did differently in terms of the segmentation, campaigns, and then how we improved their copy and design. So let's talk about the quantity versus quality breakdown, because you will often hear email marketers, say something like, if you want to make more money with emails, just send more. And that's true. I personally preach this everywhere as well, because this is really the case. But although this is a very good way to do it, there is a better way of doing it, which I'll explain later in this video. But there is one issue that nobody talks about sending more emails. It only gets you so far. It has limited potential and reach, because most brands, believe it or not, they send 1 or 2 emails per week. And getting to 3 to 4 emails per week will get you the most of the incremental revenue increase. Because if you're sending only 1 per week and you bump it to 3 to 4 times per week, you pretty much triple your email revenue, right? But when you're at 3 to 5 emails per week, which is the sweet spot for most brands, when you get to 6 to 7 per week, the uplift won't be as significant. So you can get there, you can be sending 7 emails per week, but the improvement in the revenue and incremental increase in the revenue won't be as high as if you went from 1 per week to 4 per week, right? If you go from 5 per week to 6 per week, it's gonna make you more revenue, but it's not gonna change your business ultimately. And even then, once you get to 7 emails per week, what's next? Do you keep sending 2 per day, maybe 3 per day? You get the point, you get the idea. It only gets you so far, and quantity of the emails is important. But once you're at the point where you're sending 6 to 7 emails per week, you can't really scale further. I mean, okay, you can technically, but again, it's not going to give you incremental revenue increase. And this graph shows it perfectly, because again, once you're going to the 3 per week, that's the bare minimum. Once you go to 4 per week, the revenue will increase incrementally a little bit, but it won't be as significant. But when you go to 5 per week and beyond 5 per week, obviously it will keep increasing no matter what, but then you also have to keep in mind your deliverability and your subscribers as well. Come on, if they're gonna be getting 3 emails per day from you, they're gonna unsubscribe and they're gonna hate you instead of loving you. So again, quantity of emails is important, and you should be sending more probably than you're doing right now. But if you're at the point where you're sending 3 to 5 to 7 per week, you should cap it, okay? In some cases, you should be sending 2 per day, but only when it's, stuff like Black Friday, Cyber Monday, maybe even 4th of July. So again, that's, on the quantity side. Now let's focus on the quality side of the emails, because all of that perfectly explain why you should keep working on sending better emails. So focusing on the quality of the emails. It might take longer to nail everything down, but once you do it, you will be able to generate more revenue per email. And this is how you get a proven and repeatable system that will make more revenue every time you hit send. Because once you combine more revenue per email by making your emails better with more emails sent, you will drive more revenue and profit every single month. And again, this chart is kind of inverted compared to the quantity one. You can see this one is growing at first exponentially, but then it flattens out. The quality of the emails is quite the opposite, because at first, it's pretty hard to improve your quality because you're playing with the copy, playing with the design, seeing what's better. But once you keep doing that, it's gonna get exponential after you keep sending more and more and better emails. And that's ultimately how you grow your email revenue, by combining both. Now, just very quickly, if you're looking for someone to help you do that, which is send more emails and send better emails, there's gonna be a link below this video. You can book a free call with me where me and my team are gonna handle your entire email and SMS marketing completely done for you. And again, we're gonna help you scale to the next level, whether it's 6 figures per month, several figures per month, or even further. But now let's go back to the video. Segmentation was another part of the quantity problem that, fixed that, which is like, it fixed the quantity problem partially, because aside from sending more emails, you can and also you should send to more people. You simply do this by expanding your regular engaged segments, because most of the time, not gonna lie, most brands are gonna be sending to their engaged 60 or 90 segment, but you should keep expanding it. Make it engaged 90, 180, even engaged 1 year. Then if your deliverability is good enough, you can go ahead and target all buyers and non-buyers, and that's exactly what we've done for each of these brands, because this way we were able to reach more people, but also make our engaged segments better. Because if someone didn't engage with your brand in the last 60 days and you re-engage the subscriber by hitting all of your buyers or non-buyers, they will be added to your engaged 60 segment, which will make it bigger. And it's a powerful snowball that just keeps giving you more and more sales every time you do it. One note is that for all of these brands, we expanded these segments to the point where our engaged segments were making up 60 to 70% of their whole list. We did it without damaging the deliverability, which is also very important, because every time we send a campaign to this broad engaged segment, it's getting us 50 to 60% open rate, which again is very, very healthy. Now let's talk about campaigns, because aside from improving the quality of the emails, which again, more of that on that soon, and going broader, which is expanding your segmentation, we just send more. So again, I know it kind of contradicts my initial advice, but like I said, these brands were sending 1 to 2 per week, which is not enough, so we bumped it up. Especially since it was November, Black Friday season. So we went bigger in volume right at the start of the month, from 2 campaigns a week, which again is not enough, to 3 to 4 per week, and then 4 to 5 per week. So, we didn't even expand to 7 per week. We just went to 4 to 5 per week, which was sweet spot for them. And during the Black Friday weekend, we would do 2 campaigns per day. This kind of volume combined with broader segments helped us target way more people and maximize unique opens and clicks, driving more traffic to the site and ultimately more revenue. Now let's talk about what we probably are here for, which is the quality of the emails, because improving copy and design is more important than you think. As the previous steps, they helped you with quantity and reach. This is where you improve the quality of your emails. This is a continuous process where you need to keep improving, testing, and reiterating every single time you create a new campaign. The quality of your emails really comes down to 2 things, which is design and copy. First, let me focus on the design, because contrary to what you might think, it's not only about sending emails that look good. In fact, sometimes ugly emails tend to perform better than the beautiful ones, but it's similar to ads. Like, you probably heard the whole movement of doing ugly ads where they perform better. It's kind of similar with emails. But what's more important than emails looking good is the visual hierarchy and readability of the emails. So for all of these brands, we've done a few simple improvement steps which you can implement for your brand as well. First one is optimizing above default section, making sure you have all of the above default optimized, which is having header, subheader, and call to action above default. Above default means that when someone opens the email, this is what they see. Infographics, that's what we implemented for them to get your points across easily, so improve readability. Enough padding between sections, so again, not everything is cluttered, and if someone opens the email, the last thing they want to see is a huge block of text, so make sure that you just use simple padding. It's really not that complicated. Then we'll also split text into paragraphs, because this way, again, it's way more readable. And then we also implemented footer with USP icons and collection links, where adding these collection links usually drives click rate up by like 30 to 50%. There are some simple changes that drastically increase your clicks and conversions, so again, you can go ahead and implement them right now. Now let's talk about the copy, because one of the worst mistakes I see in email copy is only selling or selling your product like hard selling, or relying on discounts. These emails are a must-have and they do work, but they target only most of our customers. Your copy should also be speaking directly to all of the other stages of subscribers' awareness. By nailing down your angles and avatars, your copy will become way more relevant and will just resonate more with the audience and all of your prospects. And this is exactly what we did for all of these brands to kind of get this across, which is like nailing down the targeting, nailing down the messaging, copy, and awareness stages. So we focused more on pain points, problems, and objections that they have, rather than, sending only discounts or only sales-focused emails. We focused on pain points, problems they're struggling with, kind of just having emails directly about the pain points. We made a list, a few of these pain points, tested them, which one resonate the most with the audience, and then in the following months, we're gonna be doubling down on these pain points that performed the best. Then we also added some educational and value-based emails. And I don't mean like, typical value, which is like kind of vague of a statement. We would send them some kind of blog articles. Maybe you would condense a blog article into the email itself, stuff that really helps them. Again, on the awareness problem, there probably would be at somewhere like problem aware, solution aware, right? And this is where these educational emails really help them understand what's going on. We also started sending plain text founder emails, which are a great way to build brand in general. They're just building credibility and likability, but they also convert well and they have great deliverability. And then when we had sale focused emails, they were just super short and concise because we knew that people are aware and the only thing they need right now is just to see the sale, see the discount, or maybe see direct, like shop now button, stuff like that. Super short, super simple, presenting the product as the ultimate solution. One important thing is that everyone tells you to make the emails short, which I understand, and honestly, when we had these sale-focused emails, they were short and concise, but what we did for other emails was the opposite. So most of our non-sales emails were usually quite long and in-depth. They felt like mini landing pages, and that worked. That's because, again, kind of when everyone zigs, you want to zag. So everyone is sending short emails with like, just one sentence of covering the problem, and I mean, come on, like you can't really cover the whole problem within one sentence. So some of our emails were a bit longer, they had the header, paragraph, button, stuff like that. Again, mini landing pages, but they worked great. And for people who are not most aware, they really do work well. So if you're not sending long emails, at least give them a go. I'm not saying you should be sending only long emails, but it's all about kind of balancing both and sending both long and short emails, sending both value-based educational emails and super, hard sales emails. Again, combining all of this will just make you more revenue. Now, just to kind of show you what's going on later, here's how we're scaling these brands even more. So this brand was at 1.3 mil in November. I took the screenshot, in the middle of December for the last 30 days. They're already at 1.5 mil. The other brand that was at almost 1.1, currently sitting at 1.2. And the other one crossed 1 million euro in revenue, which is pretty amazing. So the main takeaway for your brand, if you're wondering how you can implement all of this knowledge, is focusing on QQR. This is a concept I came up with, which I think is very easy to get across and understand, because QQR stands for quantity, quality, and reach. So quantity, you want to be sending more emails, again, caps out at like 4 to 5 per week. Quality, you want to be sending better emails, and then reach, expanding your segments, so targeting more people. It will be a must-have for any brand that just wants to survive, as there is more competition every single day, but also way more content and bad emails because of the AI slope. So if you want to, kind of get ahead of this AI slope and just make more revenue for your brand from emails, you need to implement the QQR concept, because focusing on all of these 3 elements and aspects above will be helping you just kind of fight rising acquisition costs and keep scaling profitably. But that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to join my free newsletter. And yeah, like all of this knowledge is really everything you need to know if you want to scale to $1 million per month. But if you want someone to help you with this, you don't want to learn everything about email marketing, seeing how you can expand your segments, how you can send better emails, but you just want someone to do it for you, then there's gonna be a link below this video. You can have a free call with me. I'm gonna see if we're able to help you out, if we're a good fit for each other, and then I'm gonna let you know how we can make you more revenue from emails and how we can scale your brand to the next level and do it, most importantly, at profit. That's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed this. If you're looking for someone to help with emails, link below in the video description. But that's it. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Cheers.